I look at that as something that hopefully is something we can get accustomed to around here. That going into each season, there's a high level of expectation, excitement, and we want that. That means your program is consistent. But those are I think preseason rankings are more of a complement to what people perceive you to be based on how you finished a year ago, and more what they think of your team and what it could like if you reach your potential. So those are compliments, but by no means do they carry any weight when they say play ball. So we've just been focusing on getting ready to play, using the practice time available to make sure our guys are healthy and prepared, and we know our greatest challenges await us when we start the season. I like knowing some of these kids now for their second and third year. Your first year, you get to know kids right off the bat, and you're developing relationships. And your second year, you're extending relationships. And now in the third year, you've really grown close to these kids. This will be the third year that Gage Green's walked through that door, that Donovan's come through that door, and I could go on and on and on. So learning more about your players, developing relationships with them, really feeling comfortable and knowing who they are. And I think for them, being comfortable with us. They know what we expect. They know how we want this program to function and what it stands for now. So those have been things that have been really rewarding to this point about this team. And I think we have a talented team. We look at our players and to see the growth in some of them on the field, to watch Connor Costello and where he is now, to see Donovan Walton grow into the player he's become and know them on the field as players. It gives us a chance, I think, to continue to coach them effectively. But above all else, I respect them. I respect where this team's at. And I love the idea of giving them freedom and turning over to them the responsibility to perform. So those have all been things that have been fun. That may not sound like a fun list to people, but when you coach, those are the most rewarding things you could ever want, is relationships and trust with your players. I've learned a tremendous amount of things. One that every year has a different tone to it, as you mentioned earlier. The tone in year one was to just survive and kind of come together, and let's put a team together that can go out there and let's capitalize on the specialness of this group. Year two was we felt a little bit more comfortable knowing a little more about our team and had a little more time to prepare, if you will. And in year three, we obviously are much more familiar with our team. We've had time to grow close as a staff and as a program, so those things all mean a lot. You feel more maybe at ease knowing what the guy to your right and what the guy to your left is thinking and how they operate. So those things have all been comforting. The continuity has been big. We've had very little turnover in terms of how we run our program, and that's something you like to see. How you change, I don't know. I think you seek to grow every day. I think that's something you have to do. Change is important as long as you're growing, and I think that's something we've asked our players to do first and foremost, is grow while they're here. Don't come in and leave the same guy. Leave here much more ready, much more prepared, much more confident. I think as coaches, that's our job too, is to grow as coaches, become better leaders, really know the game inside and out so we can teach it better, and make sure that our team continues to reflect all of the good things that we think baseball has to offer. So I know we've sought to grow for sure. I think personally, you learn a lot, man. You learn a lot when you're what they say, you've sat in front of the bus a lot, but sometimes now you're in a different seat and you've got to think a little differently. So that's been something you learn, is how to think in different seats that you're in. But one thing I know is we have a great coaching staff that does so many things day in, day out that really allow me to enjoy coaching because I trust them so much. And when you look at our players, again, when they care and when they're invested, it doesn't feel like anything other than just a lifestyle. Showing up at the field and working with these kids every day is fun. It's just what you look forward to doing. So I think if you journaled what you learned day in and day out in the last 3 years, there'd be an awful lot on the pages.